Guess we get in and out faster.
No, but I look here.
This is Zoe Burgess, your city clerk. The regular city council meeting of May 9th, 2022 is being held with a quorum of City of Westlake Council physically in attendance at the Westlake Council Chambers, 4005 Seminole Pratt Whitney Road. Public comments may be accepted prior to the meeting utilizing the electronic comment card available on the city's website. Public comments are also permitted at the appropriate time during the meeting. The mayor will call for such during public comment, and you may participate at this time utilizing the system's virtual hand feature and waiting to be acknowledged. Please note this meeting is being recorded, both voice and video, and to remember your mic may be live. I will mute any microphones that carry any feedback or interruption. If you're a caller that has been muted, you may unmute yourself by pressing *6. Any person in the virtual meeting causing a disruption or being inappropriate will be removed from the meeting. If I may also remind those physically in attendance, please utilize microphones so that the virtual audience and a clear recording of the meeting is produced. Thank you. Mayor O'Connor.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. I would like to call to order the regular City Council meeting of May 9th, 2022 at 6:31 p.m. We have roll call, please.
Councilman Julian Martinez.
Present.
Councilwoman Pilar Valley-Ron.
Present.
Vice Mayor Greg Langowski.
Present.
Mayor John Paul O'Connor.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Wonderful. Please stand and join us in Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Additions, deletions, or modifications, as well as the approval of the agenda. We do have one modification of the agenda today. We planned on honoring former Mayor Roger Manning, and he is unfortunately unable to make it today. He had a very last minute emergency, called me right before the meeting. I believe I need a motion in order to get that taken off the agenda.
When the agenda is approved, it could be approved with that deletion.
Okay.
Motion to approve the agenda as amended.
That being said, I need a motion to approve the agenda with that deletion.
Motion to approve the consent agenda with that
So
deletion.
if I may, it's not the consent agenda, it's
Oh,
the entire
agenda.
entire agenda.
Entire agenda
Thank you.
with that deletion.
Second.
We have a motion by Vice Mayor Langowski, seconded by Councilwoman Valley-Ron. Roll call. Councilman Martinez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Valley-Ron.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes,
Motion carries. Thank you.
wonderful. Public comments and requests. This section of the agenda allows for comments from the public to speak. Each speaker will be given a total of 3 minutes to comment. A public comment card should be completed and returned to the city clerk. When you are called to speak, please go to the podium or unmute your device, and prior to addressing the council, state your name and address for the record.
Mayor, I received no previous comment cards. We'll give the virtual audience a moment to raise their virtual hand. If you wish to make a comment, please raise your virtual hand and wait to be acknowledged. If you've been muted, please press *6. Please state your name and address. You have 3 minutes. Mayor, I see no comments.
Now for the consent agenda. This section of the agenda consists of routine or administrative items that require final approval by the city council and may be approved in its entirety by a single motion. There will be no discussion of these items unless a city council member requests such, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered on a future agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Langowski, seconded by Councilman Martinez. Roll call. Councilman Martinez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Valley-Ron.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Excellent. Presentations and proclamations. And it is with my great honor that I do this first one as soon as I find it. My fault. Where is it? Ah. Here's the actual. Did I just read this? Oh, great. I'll have a whole thing to read.
You can add more. You're not limited to just that.
Um, Well, Katrina, Ms. Long Robinson, this key to the city of Westlake is in recognition of your valued service as the first vice mayor of the city of Westlake. We present to you this key to the city, and I will absolutely add on that. Um, this is truly an honor to be able to present to you in this position, and your contribution to this city has been endless, and your fingerprints will be all over this city forever in its entirety. You have truly helped shape this city. You've helped make it what it is, and it certainly would not be the city that it is without you. And it is my great honor to present to you Westlake's very first key to the city. Would you like to say a couple words? You don't have to, but I'll put you on the spot. Well, that was fun. All right. Item B, we have stricken for this meeting.
B and C.
And C. It's touche. All right. Next item on the agenda is the filling of the vacancy of the group seat 3 vacancy. A very, very important seat it is. There's a couple ways we can do this. We need to decide amongst ourselves of the candidates whom will fill the empty seat. And I must say, it's an unbelievably difficult decision, at least for me, because all the candidates, I mean, we would be lucky to have any of them. There were 4 candidates who put their name in the hat to have the opportunity to serve on this council and to serve the city. And all 4 of those candidates should be commended for even just stepping forward and
Yes.
Just for the opportunity to serve. And however this goes, I recommend that the remaining 3 continue to serve the city in every capacity possible. There'll be elections in 2 years. So it was for the remaining term of, again, it was very dear to me because it's my old seat. That being said, I have a recommendation on how, like procedure wise, what we should do. I don't know if everybody agrees or not, but I think that maybe we all write our number 1 choice down and we choose our number 1. And if there's a majority in the
Attorney, give it to the attorney. Let it.
right, and if there's a majority in the number 1 choice, we don't have to go through 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. That way, there was just this person slightly edged out the rest of them, and the other people are still equal. And otherwise, and then if we have to go to a, what do you recommend?
Mayor, thank you. Ultimately, this is a process that's controlled by the council. So you all get to decide how you want to consider, evaluate, rank, and ultimately appoint one of these applicants, one of these candidates. I would only offer in the context of what you proposed is that there are no secret ballots in Florida. So to the extent that the council would like to use a ballot system where you provide a name, your top ranked individual, that would be fine. I would just ask you to put your name on the ballots and they'll be read into the record. But the process you described certainly is an
Yeah,
appropriate one.
first round draft.
Yeah, yeah.
We
That,
type in our first choice if there's enough of a consensus.
Mhm.
Otherwise, we have to continue and
great.
continue.
The discussion, the dialogue, sure.
Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Excellent. This way, hopefully, there's no last place. That's my thoughts.
Would you like us just to put the name and then our name underneath it, or our name, then the person?
Whatever your,
Okay.
I mean, I trust I can figure out between the two.
Where's the actual? Are we on here somewhere? I apologize now for my atrocious handwriting. Should have been a doctor.
Okay, well, the first round of ballots have been turned in. And I'll read the tally for the record. We have Councilwoman Ron with a vote for Jacob Wheeler. We have Councilman Julian Martinez with a vote for Charlotte Leonard. We have Councilman Greg Langowski, Vice Mayor Langowski, with the vote for Charlotte Leonard, and Mayor O'Connor with a vote for Charlotte Leonard.
First round drafts worked. Congratulations, Mrs. Leonard.
If I may, for the record, I'll assume that that's consensus of the council. If I may just read the resolution
Sure.
into the record to formalize the appointment. The item for the record is Resolution 2022-13. It would be a resolution of the City Council of the City of Westlake, Florida, appointing Charlotte Leonard as a City Council Group 3, City of Westlake, providing that the individual appointed to the council shall serve as the city council member elected at the next until the next regularly scheduled city election determined by city council to be March of 2024 is sworn into office, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
You can take your seat and get your vote.
You
You
need a motion? You need a motion? You need a motion? You need a motion? You need a second? You need to swear him
need a
in.
motion, I need a second, and I need an oath.
Motion to adopt the resolution. Adopt the resolution.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the resolution.
Need a second, Mayor?
I need a second.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Martinez, seconded by Vice Mayor Langowski. Roll call, Councilwoman Ron.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes,
Councilman Martinez.
Yes.
Motion carries.
excellent. We need to conduct an oath of office. Zoe?
Repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I, state your name,
that I, Charlotte Leonard,
will support and protect and defend
will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government of the United States
the Constitution and government of the United States
of the state of Florida against all enemies,
and of the state of Florida against all enemies,
domestic or foreign,
domestic or foreign,
and that I will bear true faith,
and I will bear true faith,
loyalty, and allegiance to the same,
loyalty, and allegiance to the same,
and that I am entitled to hold office
and I am entitled to hold office
under the Constitution of the United States
under the Constitution of the United States
and Constitution and laws of the state of Florida,
and Constitution and laws of the state of Florida,
and I will faithfully perform all duties of Group 3 council member
and that I will faithfully perform all duties of Group 3 council member
of the city of Westlake, Florida, upon which I'm about to enter, so help me God.
of the city of Westlake, Florida, upon which I am about to enter, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Same.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you.
And with that, we are a whole council again. We are complete. First time. This is wonderful. This is full circle.
That's right.
Yes.
Full circle. Excellent.
I'm on page 175, sorry, 75 in the packet.
Okay.
Okay. Again, thank you everyone who applied for the position, and I encourage everyone to continue to stay involved and really well done. Anyways. Next, we have a public hearing. Item A. We have before us a resolution for the plat of Crestwind Palm Beach Phase 4. City Attorney, can you please read the resolution to record?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution 2022-07 for the record is a resolution of the City Council, the City of Westlake, Florida, approving Crestwind Palm Beach Phase 4 being a replat of a portion of Tract OST 21, Crestwind Palm Beach Phase 2 as recorded in Plat Book 130, pages 199 through 205, the Public Records of Palm Beach County, Florida, together with a portion of Section 6, Township 43, Range 41 East, City of Westlake, Palm Beach County, Florida, including a waiver for the block length per Chapter 5, Article 5.7, Section 2D1 Sub R of the City of Westlake Land Development Regulations, providing for recordation, providing for conflict, severability, and providing for an effective date. It's a public hearing, Mayor.
Thank you, City Attorney. Staff comments and presentations?
Yes, good evening, everyone. Suzanne Dombrowski with Chen Moore and Associates, and I'm your city engineer. So I'm really looking forward to working with you all. I'm here to give a short presentation on the Crestwind Palm Beach Phase 4 plat review. And I'd just like to note that we don't typically do presentations on the plat reviews. This one had a waiver associated with it, so we wanted to walk you through that. So starting with the location, I'm sure all of you in here know where Crestwinds is right now in the center of the city. And Phase 4 is on that northeast side. So when we review plats, we look at Chapter 177 of the Florida statutes, as well as Chapter 5 of the City of Westlake Land Development Regulations. And we have reviewed this plat with that criteria, and we do find the plat what we call technically compliant. So getting into the proposed waiver, Chapter 5 has a requirement for the length of a street that terminates in a dead end or a cul-de-sac. And that requirement is 900 feet, or it can be 1,250 feet if you had a mid-block pedestrian pass-through. And so the intent of this code is to try and reduce the travel time, both in a vehicle or in a pedestrian travel time. Try and make the city more, mobility enhanced so that you had a very walkable city. So in this application, there is one street that is 1,660 feet in length. This is Hutchinson Way. And so what the applicant has proposed with this longer block length is a connection to the pathway, the multimodal pathway on Town Center Parkway, as well as connecting to the cul-de-sac to the west. And Don Herring's office has been great working with us and providing us with all sorts of exhibits to help us review this application. And we pulled out two locations that we think most people would be traveling to. So we looked at the clubhouse and we looked at going to Town Center Parkway. And we looked at that if you had a design that was compliant with the LDRs and then the current design. So if the design did meet the LDRs and they had a mid-block crossing, the total travel time or travel distance to get to the clubhouse would be 3,106 feet. And if you wanted to get to Town Center Parkway, it would be through the gated entrance and it would be 3,484 feet. Now with this current design, it's 3,205 feet to get to the clubhouse, and it is 877 feet to get to Town Center Parkway through that new pathway connection. So if you compare, if they had a design that was compliant with the LDRs versus what they are proposing, it's almost 100 feet greater to get to the clubhouse, but it's 2,607 feet less to get to Town Center Parkway. So as we review a waiver, we're looking at a few different conditions. First of all, is the waiver allowed per the city's land development regulations? And this is written out in Chapter 5, that the city can grant this waiver as long as it does not negatively affect the health, safety, and welfare of the public. Also, if the waiver is sought in connection with an application that requires city council approval, then the city council also has to approve that waiver. And so we believe that the subject waiver does not negatively affect the health, safety, or welfare of the residents. Our second consideration is the increased vehicular travel time significant. So we don't believe, as far as vehicular travel time, you're looking at about 100 feet. That's not significant at all in a vehicle. And also Palm Beach County Fire Rescue has reviewed this application and they have approved it, so they do not have any concerns. And so our third consideration is the increased pedestrian travel time. And as you saw, that the distance to the Town Center Parkway pathway was greatly reduced. So we believe that's actually an overall benefit rather than negative. So in conclusion, we do support the waiver request. We have reviewed the plat. It is technically compliant according to Chapter 177 of the Florida statutes and the City of Westlake LDRs. So we would therefore recommend that the plat be approved with the waiver. And we have the resolution written out. Are there any questions?
Excellent, thank you. Do you have any comments from council?
No comments.
No comment.
So motion to approve?
I'm all for connecting multimodal pathways, so.
Public hearing.
Mrs. Leonard, any comments or questions?
No comments.
Councilwoman Leonard? Let's open it to the public. Do we have any public comments?
Mayor, receiving no previous comment cards, we'll give the virtual audience a moment to raise their virtual hand. If you wish to make a comment, please raise your virtual hand. Please state your name and address. If you've been muted, please press *6. I see no comments, Mayor.
If there is no further discussion, may I have a motion?
Motion to approve resolution for the plat of Crestwing, Palm Beach, Phase 4, Resolution 2022/07.
I didn't hear a second.
A second.
Thank you. Motion by Councilwoman Valier Ron, seconded by Councilwoman Leonard. Roll call. Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Councilman Martinez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Valier Ron.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on, we have before us a resolution for the plat of Town Center Parkway, Phase 4. City Attorney, please read the resolution into record.
Thank you, Mayor. Council, for the record, Resolution 2022-08 is a resolution of the City Council for the City of Westlake, Florida, approving the plat of Town Center Parkway Phase 4, being a portion of Section 5, Township 43, South Range 41 East, City of Westlake, Palm Beach County, Florida, providing for recordation, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
See Mr. Hearing ready for presentation?
I am, Mr. Mayor, council members, for the record, Donaldson Hearing here today on behalf of Minto PBLH LLC, and glad to have you here. We're presenting to you a plat, as Suzanne had pointed out previously. This is a roadway plat for a portion of Town Center Parkway, which actually completes it all the way up to where we'll ultimately terminate at 60th Street. Now, we don't have the right to connect there yet. That's obviously forthcoming, but this will complete Town Center Parkway all the way from Seminole Pratt Whitney all the way to 60th Street. So this small portion of road, which we refer to as Town Center Parkway Phase 4, Section E5, from an engineering perspective, will extend from the roundabout, which is where Riverbend and Town Center Parkway Phase 3 terminate, and it will extend all the way to the north to our northern boundary and connect to the ultimate right-of-way for 60th Street, which runs along the northern boundary of the city of Westlake. It'll also form the eastern boundary of parcel R2, which is the Woodlands, which I believe you approved last month at your council meeting, and that's looking forward to moving forward with that parcel. So here's an oblique photo that we have. This is a couple of months old because you probably realize there's several more houses that have been constructed since this photo was taken. But the yellow highlight all the way up to the north shows the extension of where River Bend and Town Center Parkway join at the roundabout. And this will extend along the eastern side of the Woodlands and connect all the way up and kind of complete the roadway segment. Of course, with our roadways come along our multimodal pathways and everything that you see that are a part of the roadway section. This before you this evening is simply the plat. As pointed out by staff, the plats are required to meet a technical requirement of the Florida statutes, and if they meet that, in which staff has indicated they have, then they should be approved. And so this has met that technical requirement. This is the cover sheet. The cover sheet includes for the new council members some various signature blocks for the various council members and mayors and entities that are involved with the plat, as well as any conveyances of some open space tracts or drainage tracts to Seminole Improvement District. All that legal conveyance occurs as a part of the plat. So this is what I'll just show you one sheet. This is the connection that goes all the way up to 60th Street and then terminates. It includes the boundaries, the legal descriptions, the open space parcels on either side of the roadway, which are part of what we call our parkways, where the multimodal paths occur. And again, it's a technical type document. With me is Councilor Dewey, and she'll say a few words.
I like to keep Don on his toes and just sneak up behind him like that. He always wonders what I'm going to say. For the record, Tara Dewey, Lewis, Longman, and Walker on behalf of Minto PBLH LLC. I just wanted to give you a little bit of information about 60th Street, to which this will eventually connect. Minto has executed an interlocal agreement with Seminole Improvement District and Palm Beach County, wherein we have dedicated the right-of-way for 60th Street to be constructed by the county from its current state right along 140th all the way to Seminole Pratt. That will be a county-built facility, but that property has been dedicated. So at the time, the county puts that facility on its 5-year plan, which it hasn't. We will complete the dedication. Sid will remove certain easements and prepare it to be constructed. But at that time, Town Center Parkway will connect to 60th, and that'll be in the county. So just wanted to give you a little bit of background since you're all new, and it's my first time getting to speak to you. So welcome, and I look forward to working with you. Thank you.
I have a question about the 5-year plan.
Yes.
Sorry. Is that completed in 5 years or started within 5 years?
The county's 5-year plan, every year they update it. It's their 5-year schedule of capital improvements. And it tells you when in that 5-year window they intend to construct it. To date, that particular improvement is not on their 5-year plan yet.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So we look forward to your approval. This is pretty exciting because this is a pretty completion of a pretty large segment of roadway from Seminole, Pratt Whitney all the way to the northern boundary. So it's about three miles in total length. So it's a significant amount of infrastructure, and it's exciting to see it get to all the way to that point and all the roadway networks within your comprehensive plan being built out.
Certainly is. Thank you, Don. Do we have any comments from council?
I have none.
Questions, comments?
I've got my question.
Another. Excellent. Let's go ahead and open up for public comment. Do we have any public comments?
Mayor, I received no previous comment cards. We'll give the virtual audience a moment to raise their virtual hand. If you wish to make a comment, please raise your virtual hand. If you've been muted, please press *6. State your name and address. You have 3 minutes. I see no comments, Mayor.
There being no further discussion, may I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2022-08, a resolution for the plat of Town Center Parkway Phase 4.
Second.
I have a motion by Vice Mayor Langowski, seconded by Councilman Martinez. Roll call. Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Councilman Martinez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Valley-Ron.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Excellent. Thank you. Moving on. We have before us a resolution for the final plat of Persimmon Boulevard West, Plat 2. City Attorney, please read the resolution into record.
Thank you, Mayor. For the record, Resolution 2022-09 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Westlake, Florida, approving Persimmon Boulevard West Plat 2 being a portion of Section 1, Township 43 South, Range 40 East, City of Westlake, Palm Beach County, Florida, and being a replat of all Track C as shown in the plat book, the plat of Town Center Parkway Southwest, Plat Book 132, pages 57 and 58 of the Public Records of Palm Beach County, Florida, providing for recordation, providing for conflict, severability, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. Again, for the record, Donaldson Hearing with Kotler and Hearing here tonight on behalf of Minto PBLH LLC. And it's our pleasure to present this plat. Again, will be completing another missing link on the west side of Seminole Pratt Whitney, where we continue to provide infrastructure to support mainly the non-residential development that we have seen to date. So this is a small portion of both Persimmon and Town Center Parkway. Town Center Parkway goes along the north side of the Public Center, extending west from Seminole Pratt Whitney, where it will go, and it will intersect with Persimmon. And there's a portion of Persimmon which extends from Seminole Pratt, goes to the west, and then bends to the north around the west side of what we refer to affectionately as Parcel G, or the north portion of Parcel G, and it will connect with Town Center Parkway. And so this is being done to complete the loop, so it can be a complete vehicular loop. It's good for circulation, but it's also facilitating a future development, which will come in before you, I think, in July, for a e-commerce company that's looking to locate their home here in Westlake. So we're very excited about that. Your staff is reviewing that petition right now. So the area in blue is the roadway linkage that is being completed. The portion of Town Center Parkway extending west past Publix to where the blue, that is complete. It just has landscaping left to go into it, which is being coordinated, along with the timing of Publix. And then the portion of Persimmon extending from Seminole all the way back to where it starts here in the blue, past the little access road to the FP&L substation. That is complete. It's landscaped, and I believe that's also been turned over to Seminole Improvement District. And so we're excited about this. The plans are in review right now with your engineering department. So construction will commence as soon as permits are issued. Again, this is a plat that's before you this evening, relatively small, about 3 acres in total size. It also includes some open space parcels that are being dedicated to both Seminole Improvement District as well as to Minto. Those are outside of the parcels that then be incorporated into future plats. Again, this is the cover sheet which we typically show you. I'll stop showing you because I know you've seen a lot of them. They all look the same, include dedications, legal description, and the language which is required pursuant to Florida statutes. This request has been determined to meet all the requirements of Florida statutes and is technically compliant, and therefore should be approved. So we're requesting your approval this evening. Again, a lot of technical information showing legal descriptions and boundaries and corner clips and right turn lanes all incorporated into it. But this information obviously is important as we move forward. And Mr. Carter's here and he will say a few words.
Real quick, can you back the slide up 3? I just have a quick question. So your map, that one.
Yep.
What's this canal side berm going to look like? What's going to be between the road and the canal?
So
What type of landscaping do we have?
we have a complete street tree program that goes all the way along there. So we have our multimodal paths, which exist on both sides of the road that tie in. And then we have a street tree program that continues all the way up along that side. So we have not discussed any other landscaping with Seminole Improvement District. Certainly that's something that could occur in the future.
No, I was mostly concerned with the multimodal. That's going to be a nice.
Oh, multimodal, all is in there.
So they're all
Mr. Mayor, we know your hot buttons, multimodal part,
Yep.
charging stations, golf carts, we always make sure we provide them.
Excellent. Thank you. Mr. Carter.
Good evening. For the record, John Carter, Senior Vice President with Minto PBLH. Again, I want to offer my congratulations to our new council member tonight. I think former Councilwoman Katrina Long Robinson made the comment a little while ago, I heard over her shoulder, you're a beautiful group of people. If I may, Mayor, going back to your comment, I like to, when possible, I like to try to get up and provide a little bit of context and commentary on what we're doing and why we're doing and how things in this jigsaw puzzle are coming together very quickly now. But to your question, Mayor, if I may, to kind of give you a little bit of context on that section of Persimmon that you were discussing, we located that roadway right up and adjacent to what's called the M2 Canal right-of-way or easement. So that's help me here, Ken, that's like a 200-foot wide
Correct.
drainage corridor, which is the primary, if you go due south, that's the primary outfall for all water in the city going out that canal system. So when we located the road there, we wanted to, in working with Don and trying to get the pieces to fit most effectively, we tried to shift that road as far to the west as we could go, still having room to put street trees, still having room to put the multimodal paths and street lights. And so it'll look well, it'll look complete, but it'll be right up against that said easement. Anything from that point in, we were cognizant not to try to assume anything in the way of like putting any additional berms or any additional landscaping, because that is a key artery for the city. And so Sid was very concerned about any encroachments into that. So that's why we tried to locate that road system being complete and consistent with the city comprehensive plan, but and presenting the look and feel we want for the rest of the city. Just to give you a little bit additional commentary of what's happening here in this corner of the world. So if I can take you back around the corner, if you will, to Persimmon and Seminole Pratt, and I want to work my way around. So going back to Seminole Pratt and Persimmon, the new 7-Eleven, what I call affectionately 7-Eleven 2.0. Ken, I don't want to steal any thunder. I don't know if you were going to mention what's going on there.
They're getting very close.
They're getting very close. In fact, I've received the official invitation from 7-Eleven corporate to make sure my kids will be the first Slurpee testers of that equipment. So we had a little bit of a scheduling hiccup on the first 7-Eleven. So I'm making sure Dad delivers on 7-Eleven 2.0. But they're getting very close on that. I don't want to speak for that corporation, but here very soon, they'll have their soft opening followed by their grand opening. So a lot of activity there. Publix, a lot happening there. They are, I think, done with their footer work and they're now doing block. So they're coming vertical. I think most of the parking lot is paved now. So basically all of their underground is in place. And so everything I'm hearing from the Publix organization is they are still on target next year to open up that facility. It's programmed, it's slotted, they're ready to go. And I heard that they are having great success on leasing up their phase one. Recall their phase one, it's a 20-acre site. They are building on the southern 10 acres that fronts Persimmon, which is why we've put a lot of emphasis there to complete that portion of road, obviously for what's going on with Publix as well as the 7-Eleven. But Publix in their phase one on that 10 acres, it's a round numbers, call it 48,000 square foot Publix box with about another 15, 20,000-ish.
9 bays.
Yeah, of retail storefronts. And so there'll be some opportunities. I don't know what it is, but for an example, I gotta believe you'll have a barber shop in there, a pizza place, any number of things you would normally see in a Publix plaza. So I've heard they've had tremendous success on their attracting tenants and landing them. And in many instances, I've heard they're several deep and getting signed up. So again, I don't want to steal too much of Publix's thunder, but I know they're, I'm pleased to see they are having that amount of success because they still have the whole phase two of that plaza, the other 10 acres, the northern 10 acres, which takes me to the northern part of what we call Pod G of Publix, where you see the black asphalt. We've just recently completed the building of Town Center Parkway South. So that's Fire Station 22, kind of on the southeast corner of Seminole Pratt. So we're on the west side of Seminole Pratt. And so Publix, when we sold them the property, Publix was very concerned, I'll use that word, that they had access to that northern parcel, even though it was undeveloped. Publix wanted to have the ability and have the infrastructure in place that if what we see happening, meaning a lot of success in, getting their construction going, a lot of success in getting their leasing going, what I've heard is if they had a lot of success, they as a corporation would feel very bullish about moving into phase 2. So to help set that stage, when we closed the land sale with Publix, we committed to building that portion of Town Center Parkway to help them feel comfortable that if they wanted to pull the trigger, they can move into the phase 2 very quickly. So all indicators are things are going well. And again, I'm not here speaking for the Publix Corporation, but I'm just reading tea leaves. And I think everything we've done to set the table is bearing fruit with them, which is wonderful news. What I call on the backside of Publix, and I'm sure you'll see in subsequent plans once Don is done working with the city, between what we call Pod G West and Pod G Publix, there's a green strip. You'll see it. That's a dry retention area, and that's an asset that we dedicated to SID to help facilitate drainage between these two parcels. And so it's at Pod G West that a local e-commerce company has approached us. It actually came to me through a connection through the Chamber of Commerce. They reached out to me and facilitated a connection with this group who I didn't know beforehand, and connected us. And they're in a growth mode. They're expanding and are moving out of a lease space, and now they want to own and operate their own facility. So more to come on that, and Don is working through those details, and I'm sure you'll see that here soon. Then going back around the corner, if I may, back to 7-Eleven 2.0, the Conover, if everyone recalls Conover South, where we sold the what I call the 2 multi-tenant retail buildings, as well as the 3 quick service restaurants. As I understand it, they're wrapping up a few development permits. Their tenant lineup is now 100% set, and they're chomping at the bits to get into construction. So I think, reading tea leaves, by the end of the year, you'll see that development, the shops of Westlake Landing, under construction as well. Going a little bit further toward the school, Seminole Ridge High School, again in the Westlake Landings pod, the self-storage facility is making tremendous progress. Their contractor is on board, and I think their footers are done for the main building. I think the outbuildings, they're still working on footers there, but they're making tremendous progress. And I don't know, Ken, if you saw, but the pressure regulating station, the FPU has their contractor lined up.
Yes.
To build the enclosure around that. So that was great news. So that'll all unfold simultaneously. Then kind of coming back off of Seminole Pratt, still in Westlake Landings, we closed last week with Ed Mitchell on the Westlake Commerce Park. That's about a 230,000 square foot flex office warehouse concept. Ed and his corporation are very bullish. They're working through their building permits, and I think he's looking to commence construction in the October timeframe of this year. So that'll be a significant amount of activity. And then you may recall coming back toward Persimmon, where the round corner is, on the south side, is the future location for the Adrenaline World project. That's still on tap and unfolding from a transaction perspective. And I'm hopeful that here in the next month or two, there'll be more news that we can announce about that. But anyway, so ground zero, literally, in this little corner of the world. So I thought I'd take a minute and thank you for the privilege to just kind of give you a little bit of an overview. I know I don't get to spend a lot of time with the council on some of these items. I just wanted to give you an update of where we are, kind of why we were doing certain things, and, you know, some look ahead of as to what may be coming
County
next.
site? County site?
The county site, if you look at that map, you see the Winn-Dixie Plaza, and then you see like a blue lake behind the Winn-Dixie. Then there's like a little teardrop shaped parcel right at the corner of Ilex and Persimmon on the west side. It's right, fronts up to the Blue Lake, and it goes all the way down to Persimmon. That is the future site that we're in discussions of dedicating to Palm Beach County. I believe the county's intentions is to do some form of multi-use governmental building there. I don't know, Ken, if you've heard any details as to what they would program in it.
I haven't had the details, but I understand it's supposed to be a substation for 18 as well as some other facilities.
For the county operations.
Yes.
So Minto still owns that property. We have a requirement to provide that to the county. And Ms. Dewey and her team and Don and others, you know, we're working very diligently. I love the county. They can move very slow. So we're here and we're working with them very patiently on it. But if there's any other questions, please let me know.
Thank you so much, Mr. Carter.
You bet.
Council, do we have any questions for Mr. Carter?
No, but thank you so much for the foresight.
I have one quick one. Right? Again, so this little green space, that's 200 feet?
Well, you would have taken it.
So the distance probably from about where the green starts going to the west, the same distance on the other side of the canal is 200 feet for the M2 canal. Yeah. Right.
That's a
So-
no-fly
so
zone
it-
for development.
Yeah, so it's a pretty good size right of way.
Eventually gets tight.
I mean, the aerial's distorted, so the water itself of that canal is about 100 feet wide. So it's a major canal.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Great update. No questions from council?
No questions.
Let's open up for public comments. Do we have any public comments?
We received no previous comment cards. We'll give the virtual audience a moment to raise their virtual hand. If you wish to make a comment, please raise your virtual hand. If you've been muted, please press *6. We have a comment from John Finity. Please state your full name and your address, sir. You're still muted.
John Finity, 5862 Whippoorwill Circle.
Go ahead.
Well, I tried putting in a question in the Q&A section, just for, as a former Boy Scout, when I see maps and stuff, I like to see a compass on it, so I don't have to try and mentally think about which way is north. That's all.
So noted.
We can take that into consideration. Thank you, Mr. Finity.
Mr. Mayor, I have one comment. Both these plats, the prior plat that just approved for Town Center Parkway and this have both been approved by Seminole Improvement District.
Thank you, sir. Any more public comments?
No additional comments, Mayor.
There being no further discussion, may I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 2022-09, a resolution for the final plat of Persimmon Boulevard, West Plat 2.
Second.
We have a motion by Vice Mayor Langowski, seconded by Councilwoman Vayron. Roll call. Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Councilman Martinez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Vayron.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes,
Motion carries 5-0.
thank you. We have before us the first reading of ordinance 2022-04, mobile food trucks. The city attorney, please
Thank you,
read the
Mayor.
ordinance into record.
Thank you. For the record, ordinance 2022-04 is an ordinance of the City Council for the City of Westlake, Florida, amending the city's code of ordinances by amending a chapter entitled Land Development Regulations by creating a section to be named entitled Mobile Food Trucks, providing for definitions, providing for requirements for all mobile food trucks, providing for the regulations providing for regulations relative to conducting business, providing for parking and storage, of inactive food trucks, providing for waste disposal, providing for locations by zoning district, providing for violations, providing for codification, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. I believe we have a presentation by P and Z.
Yes. Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. Congratulations, Councilmember Leonard. So as you recall, we have an LPA meeting in April, and there was a detailed presentation at the time in April with regard to this proposed ordinance. After that presentation, we also met one-on-one with each council member, almost all council members, and then to go through the ordinance, to listen questions. So this is now the first reading. And based on the LPA hearing that we did in April, we did amend the ordinance in two areas, which I have the slides for those. So basically, I do not have a full presentation. I will only focus in 2 or 3 slides with regard to this first reading.
Excellent.
This first slide, as we yes, this first slide, as we met one-on-one with each of you, we explained that there are 2 options with regard to the designated parking spaces. And as you see there, I said to discuss with City Council. So at this first reading, we would like to have your comments and recommendations, which but for the second reading, we will provide the recommendation from the council. So option 1, what it says here is that the on-site parking requirement shall be maintained for the principal use of the property. Basically this, when the public site plan came in front of council, there was a specific number of parking spaces per our code. Every application, an office building, a Publix, any warehouse, our code provides for a specific number of parking spaces. So the option 1 is, if there is not a special event, which is completely different when we have a special event, so can a food truck use the parking space that was approved only for the principal use, for example, Publix or a warehouse? That's option 1. The second option is that the on-site parking requirement shall be maintained for the principal use of the responsible party property unless, number 1, the mobile food truck is operating pursuant to a special event and has a written permission of the responsible party, which is the property manager of the plaza or the property owner. And then also this option includes this second item, that is the responsible party demonstrates that a mobile food truck use of required parking spaces will not negatively impact the parking of any other use, which may be demonstrated through a parking study, a written permission of other uses relying on the common parking lot, or other evidence acceptable to the planning and zoning director. So basically, this part of this ordinance, as we previously explained, propose option 1 or option 2. However, for the second reading, you will see only one of these. So as we move forward, this is something that is for recommendation this evening. Do you have any question with regard to this?
Questions?
So I will move to the next slide, if I can. There. So as you see also on the version that was uploaded for your review tonight, we have, based on the comments from the LPA, we have here that the same limitations on number of operating days. The same mobile food truck shall not operate on a given property more than 2 consecutive days per calendar month, and further shall not operate on a given property more than 20 days in total per calendar year, unless the responsible party has obtained a city-issued special event permit. Canteen trucks are exempt from this provision as authorized in the subsection on the next subsection. So this was something that we added. Thank you for the comment, because I mean, the whole city of Westlake is under construction, so canteen trucks are needed. We need them. So also, we changed this based on the comments on the LPA. Class 2 canteen trucks. Class 2 canteen trucks are prohibited in all zoning districts except to provide catering to employees on site at construction sites where there is a currently valid construction permit. So we also are strike through or deleting part of the text. So this will be in compliance with the previous section. And those were the only slides that are for consideration and recommendation from the council.
This may be a question for the city attorney. When do we need to do that discussion between option 1 and option 2?
Now,
Let us know.
Correct.
Like
The
right
objective would be to make, yeah, correct. The intent would be to make the change between first and second readings. When it comes back at second reading, you see a final document.
So let's throw that back.
yeah, let
Think
me
about
go
it,
back.
and then let's discuss it.
I'm going to throw out my opinion. I'm going back and forth. Option 2 gives the city more flexibility. So I'm kind of more towards that side.
My only concern,
We are getting there. 1 second.
yeah, let's go back up there. I thought the same initially. So I thought the same initially, and then I thought, I put myself in the shoes of a potential food truck owner. You know, I think making them go through a parking study and have that expense might be an undue burden on this lowly food truck operator. I mean, no one's going to actually conduct a parking study for a one-night event or a one-day event. That's going to make the juice of even running the food truck not worth the squeeze, in my opinion. And I just don't see it ever happening, which means we're going to lose them as a potential
A
operator
question about
in the city.
the city has a parking study, correct? So obviously they say how many parking spots we need for that
Correct.
facility. Can they use that to show what they would and would not need?
They can use that as the base to start with it.
Right.
But I believe also between engineering and planning and zoning, we can set up a process that would be a simple one page. In other words, for example, some of the sites I know that when Publix goes in, a city may require, say, 100 spaces. Publix, because of what they know as their through traffic, et cetera, will build 120. And yes, we approved 120, but our own code only says 100. So there is some fluff in there. There may be others that it's simple as when the food truck is coming in, the other 5 businesses that are in the area are after hours. So you don't need the spaces if the other businesses are closed. So it can be a simpler, quantifiable process that we can develop a simple process for them to do.
Either way, it's a council decision, either option, right?
Why? Yes, that's the thing. A food truck, when a person comes and say, City of Westlake would like to put a food truck. Please note, food truck are highly protected under Florida statutes. So basically, they don't even are required to apply for a BTR, for a business tax receipt. We discussed this when we met 101. They are highly protected. So it's completely different when you have one food truck or you have a special event. So they are completely 2 different scenarios. So one food truck, like we already have here in the city, Habaneros is there. So anyway, a food truck, they will not come in front of city council to ask permission to be at a place. That's the reason these land use regulations will be really helpful to have on the book.
They would have to come in front of council.
For one food truck, as it is right now, we don't have that in our code. If you want that one food truck applies for a permit to be in one of the plazas, that we need to, you need to recommend that, because right now that is not part of the process, one food truck to be installed.
I don't love the idea of just anybody being able to park and set up shop in our city. Trust me, I'm all for innovative and less government, but that could certainly open the door to some issues.
So let me ask you a question. So the parking study, can we give them the tools to have a parking study? So they don't have to go to their expenses to do the parking study? Can we help them through that?
Suzanne, correct me if I'm wrong, but basically we could
We charge a fee.
create a simpler format for them to fill out that they're not adversely
You can't really
impacting the
expect
park.
Waffle Wagon to hire an engineering company.
No.
Agreed. That's what I'm saying. I believe that,
Parking study to come out for one day.
I'll check with
But I
staff.
do want the council to have say in whether or not Waffle Wagon's allowed to come, period.
Suzanne?
Yeah, so there's some information that's already known for each site plan, like the required parking, the parking that they're proposing, that's already published, it's written on the site plan. So I think there's some form of like, almost like a form rather than an actual calculation that they could do. We
Well,
could work with
yeah.
on that.
Parking studies.
This is the situation. If you have a plaza and you have different type of businesses, for example, you have a brewery, you have a bank, or you have a nail salon, you know. So in one of those shops, or you have a pizza place, and one of those shops would like to have a once in a while, they would like to have a food truck. So what is the regulation? Because that's all will be done administratively. We staff will, you know, receive, there is not even an
They
application.
still have to come before at least staff.
Yes, we are putting together an application. It's because Florida statutes, they give a lot of freeway to food trucks. So, however, we do have an application because, as I explained on the previous LPA, there are a number of regulations that they need to comply with. License from the state. They need to comply with a fire safety. They need an inspection from Palm Beach County Fire. So there is a number of things. Even though the city will not provide business tax receipt, that's per Florida statutes, we still are putting together a checklist and a certain way of application, and I call it like this. That the reason when Florida statute was changed in 2020, there was most of the cities put together these type of regulations to see how can the city manage food trucks. So, and it was done based on distance. What is the distance from, for example, in brick and mortar? How many days can be a food truck on a place? For example, the previous one, let me show you, is I was showing how many days. Next one.
No more than 2 consecutive days.
Exactly.
Days per month.
So we are, most cities have looked for ways how to regulate those. So that's the part. You know, otherwise there are situations that a food truck could be in a place for 10 days, 20 days for the whole year.
Love the
And,
2 consecutive days then.
you know, because has some places, basically they are extending the footprint of the plaza with temporary structures. So anyway,
Food truck still needs permission from the plaza owner
yes,
Correct.
and from city staff, but not necessarily city council.
Correct.
correct.
Again, it's part of the simplifying it. They fit in the box, they get to operate. They don't fit in the box, they don't get to operate.
Now, what if they fit in the box, but we still don't necessarily want them?
Well, there are requirements, one after other, license from the state. fire, so the regulations, the distance, they cannot be close to intersections. There are so many regulations built into this ordinance. They have to have access to restrooms. They have to have a number of, and especially the number of days that they can be.
So just hear me out and don't laugh, but devil's advocate, say a medical marijuana facility wanted to use the food trucks protected statutes as a loophole to sell marijuana brownies out of a food truck and set up shop at a festival. If they fit in every box, do we have some recourse to say, no, you can't come?
That's a very good question.
That's something the attorney will have to come back with us on.
Well, first of all, there are
This is why
three
I wanna
type of.
build in some protection.
There are three type of food trucks. As I explained on the ordinances that is in front of you, is class 1, class 2, and class 3. So that is very specific. Class 1 are the ones that has kitchen, that they can cook there. Class 2 are the one that the food comes packaged, the canteen trucks. It's all packaged. And class 3 was the ones that are like the ice cream. So if basically, I am not sure that one of those will fit or not, you know.
Ice cream, picket food, all of them.
Yeah, because they
Yeah,
sell
it's
brownies,
I mean,
It's pre.
marijuana
if it's
brownies.
prepackaged, they would be
I
a
just-
canteen truck wouldn't be
and
permitted.
again, I'm against too much government. I know that sounds ironic, but I am, but I still think we need some level of control if we
A way out.
needed
Almost
it.
a
A way to say, you know,
You don't
thank you,
meet,
but no thank you.
you don't meet the vision.
Maybe next time you don't meet the vision for the city without us landing ourselves in hot water legally.
That will be further research from the legal point of view, but like I said at the beginning, Florida statute has tightened pretty much all the regulation for food trucks.
And if I may, just by way of some of these statutory preemption, and Elsa is correct, we know that the state law prohibits the city from regulating licensing, registration, permits, or fees. So we're highly constrained in the ways the city can regulate food trucks. We're also prohibited from banning food trucks. There have been a number of bills in recent legislative sessions that have sought to totally preempt the regulation of food trucks to the state in their entirety. That hasn't happened yet. We still do have some flexibility, much of which is embraced within the proposal before you this evening. Food trucks is a defined term in the statute. It's defined as any vehicle that is a public food service establishment that is self-propelled or otherwise movable from place to place, containing self-contained utilities. The term public food service establishment has a separate definition. And to your point, Mayor, we'd like to research a little further the example that you referenced. It's
I
a
just
creative,
came up with
it's a
that.
creative, but it's a creative example.
Haven't thought of that, but I,
Yeah.
you know, when you talk about protected entities, I start thinking
Mhm.
about loopholes.
Sure.
And I just don't want our hands to be tied.
What I can offer is, again, this is first reading, so you will see this item again on second reading. Your staff is looking for some direction, particularly in the context of the two options that you're considering now. Also, between first and second reading, we'd like to do some additional research on the point that you raised to see if there's some other opportunity to tighten that language, not in conflict with state limitations.
So, thank you.
I have another question. So in option 2, it says may be demonstrated through the parking study or a written, so you don't have to have a parking study. That's up to the city to decide that. It can be, it says may.
Any evidence
Isn't it?
acceptable?
May, or you can just have the written permission.
That's that whole should versus shall.
So the word may, to me, says the city has the option, what they can say, well, we really don't want that food truck, so we're gonna say, we want a parking study from you.
Because they could.
Or you can just
There's-
have option 1 and you don't need parking study or anything. Option 1 is only
But it
the
does-
on-site parking is just for the principal structure, period.
But 2 gives the city more options.
I think too, it's a little bit more fair for the whole community, for
Mhm.
everybody that is renting around.
City attorney, is that the case? Is that maybe, so we could waive a parking study if we wanted to?
If it was worded that way to give the city the option to request a parking study, yeah. Then the answer is yes, the city would have the option of making that request. And if a application were to come in, and as the example that Ken referenced earlier, where a plaza has more spots under our code than they need, then the study may not be required because they're already well within the allotment provided for in the code and in the site plan.
Or if they have the number and the rest of the businesses who are saying, hey, I'm okay because I'm closed when you're bringing your food truck in. I don't care.
There may not be a need.
There's not a need
Do
for
we
a
need to
parking
fine
study.
tune that legalese to make it reflect that, or that's already?
I think
what
it's
it says?
it's sufficiently covered. Yeah, it's sufficiently
Okay.
covered by the way it's presented. It gives staff that flexibility.
In that case, I like option two. 'Cause I just don't want to expect a food truck service to have to hire an engineering company because they're just not going to come.
Now,
They're going to
agreed,
go to the next city.
agreed. And that's one of our things that as we work through this is how do we have that part of control that you're looking for and need, because you don't want just somebody coming in and setting up because, Joe in building A said it's okay, but the rest of them don't want it. And they wiped out a bunch of parking spaces versus the ability for somebody to say, you know what, on a regular basis, we've got a brew house, okay, may come in. They may not be doing a food service, but as we know that there's a number of them in the county, that they bring in food trucks, different food trucks every week. Couple different ones. Every Friday, Saturday night, there's different food trucks in the lot. Well, the other businesses aren't busy, so they bring in the food trucks. We wanted to be able to have that flexibility for those types of businesses that it would work without being overregulated.
What I like also for option 2 is that we need to talk and ask to the other tenants from the plaza, because there were also instances that other tenants of the plaza, they do not want the food truck because it's competition. Somebody who is paying rent at a plaza, sometimes they do not want the competition of the food truck. So it's good to have that the other tenants also need to agree.
Yeah, opinion.
I like that, but I think it should be optional as well. If one single of the other tenants takes the idea, but the rest of them love it. Are we gonna-
I would look at that when they're coming in saying, okay, out of the 6 businesses that are there, 4 of them don't have any problem kind of, shall we say, giving up their parking spaces that are for them. And one does, one doesn't care. Then the one that says, I don't think I want to give up my 5, well, your 5, even if you hold on to your
Right.
5, it doesn't adversely impact anybody else in the plaza, so we're good.
Right.
Those are the kinds of rationale that you would walk through as the application came in.
Excellent. Persuade me, Vice Mayor. I like option 2 as well.
Look for the word may.
Yeah, no, good deal. Parking thing was optional. I love it.
And we need consensus from the
Where's rest of
council.
Council on this.
I'm also on board with option 2.
I'm on board on option 2.
I'm on board with option 2, but are we waiting for the information from the
We can
attorney?
clean that up between first and
Correct.
second.
Yeah,
Okay,
This
all right.
change will be made between first and second reading. So when you see the ordinance again on second reading, it will include option 2, consistent
Okay.
with council's direction.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you.
We need a vote.
Need a motion.
Need a motion.
We need a
And
motion
Public
to
hearing,
approve.
public hearing as well, Mayor.
We need public comment, first of all.
Yes.
Do we have any, let's open up for public comment. Do we have any public comments?
Catherine Rossmo, I believe she had a comment. No? Okay.
I'm okay.
We've got one from Chief Hirsch as well. I like that.
Please use the podium.
State
your
State your
name.
name and address,
For the
please.
record.
Daniel Hirsch, 15227 Goldfinch Circle in the Meadows. My only concern is, let's say the tenant doesn't like a barbecue restaurant. Could they allow a barbecue food truck to come in? Because they're trying to get rid of that tenant if he's paying rent,
That the ordinance has a 200-foot distance requirement from an existing brick and mortar location.
So, okay, so
They could not, probably in most cases, would not be able to be in the same parking lot as an existing business.
okay, there you go. That's good. That worked for me.
Thank you, sir.
Mayor, we receive no other public comments. We'll give the virtual audience a moment to raise their virtual hand.
Mr. Mayor, as a further comment to his question, one of the advantages of our form of how we operate with contract is that all of our departments have exposure to multiple governmental jurisdictions. And there's not much that we haven't seen where somebody else has stumbled. And we're trying to stop that stumble before it hits us. So we see a lot of things that we can prevent early on and put the things into distances so we don't come across that later where somebody sets up, as you're saying, all of a sudden the landlord wants a guy out, so he puts a food truck in to work, drive the other guy out. Can't happen.
Well done. Excellent.
Great, thank you.
Mayor, we have a comment from Juan Tapiero.
Yes, hi, this is actually Annie Rodriguez Tapiero. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, please state your address for the record.
Yes, I will. 5991 Whippoorwill Circle, Hammocks, Westlake, Florida 33470. Quick question, I'm just curious, the truck that is there now, did they already go through the approval process? Are they in, or would they have to do that now?
Right now, we have no ordinances governing them, so they are existing as they are. Once this passes second reading, which is next month, they will have to abide by this ordinance.
All right, thank you. I hope they do, because we love their tacos, so thank you.
Well, they'd only be allowed to be there 2 days in a row.
4 days a month.
There's some things that you can do. Yeah. No, they could not set up permanent shop there.
Mayor, we have no other comments.
There being no further discussion, may I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to pass ordinance 2022-04 mobile food trucks
With the
with the
second
modification,
option.
with the second option.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Martinez, seconded by Councilwoman Valle-Ron. Roll call. Councilman Martinez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Valle-Ron.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. We have before us the first reading of ordinance 2022-05, land development regulations, readoption. City Attorney, please read the ordinance into the record.
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance 2022-05, for the record, is an ordinance of the City of Westlake, Florida, readopting and reconfirming the city's previously adopted ordinances related to the development of land within the city and consolidating such ordinances as a comprehensive set of land development regulations for the city, providing for codification, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
City Attorney, would you like to expand on
Just
this?
thank you, Mayor. Just very briefly, this really is a housekeeping item. Since 2017, the city councils adopted, I believe, 8 separate ordinances, all piecemeal, that address various components of the land development process. What this ordinance does is it readopts and reconfirms each of the prior 7 ordinances. It lays them out in sequential order by way of chapter 1 through 8. The intent and objective is to provide a more comprehensive and efficient land development regulations in one composite ordinance, which at some future moment will be codified as part of the city code. This ordinance does not provide any substantive changes to the city's land development process. It really truly is a housekeeping item that will readopt and recodify your existing ordinances as one comprehensive set of LDRs.
Thank you, Counselor. We have any comments from council on this?
No comment.
No comments.
None from myself. Let's open up for public comment.
No public comment cards were received, Mayor. We'll give the virtual audience a moment to raise their virtual hand. If you wish to make a comment, please raise your virtual hand. Please state your name and address. You have 3 minutes. We have no comments, Mayor.
Thank you. There being no further discussion, may I have a motion?
Motion to approve ordinance 2022/05, land development regulations, readoption.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Valle-Ron, seconded by Vice Mayor Langowski. Roll call. Councilwoman Valle-Ron.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Councilman Martinez.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Takes us to new business. Resolution 2022-10, the amending resolution 001-2016 relative to the rules of city council, providing for an amendment to meeting days and time. City Attorney, please read the resolution into record.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 2022-10 is a resolution of the City Council, of the City of Westlake, Florida, amending Resolution 01-2016 relative to the rules of the City Council, providing for an amendment to the meeting days and times, providing for conflict, severability, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. City Manager Ken Castle, would you like to take this?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. As we now have a total new council with different conflicting days potentially, it has been brought to my attention that it might be desirable for us to move our council meetings from Monday evenings to Tuesday evenings, either the first or second Tuesday of the month, with the option of a second meeting, if necessary, would be either on the third or the fourth Tuesday of the month. So that's kind of where we're at. And again, we would set the original time that was set in here was 7:30, and I know that most of the council wants earlier, so we can do a 6 or 6:30. It's your call on as far as time frame, depending on your schedules. And then also, we would always set the LPA meetings prior to that.
Do we need to have a separate resolution for the LPA?
The LPA will be separate, yeah. The LPA that takes that action, set those meetings.
We should have done that.
We can follow it up.
And that all that time we had after that 5-minute meeting.
I had a comment.
Please.
I wanted to see if it would be open for the council to move our meetings to 6 PM instead of 6:30, and the LPAs would take place at 5:30 when they do occur.
I'm flexible.
Me too.
Is that a normal time for our residents to be home and be able to make the meetings?
The Palm Beach County municipalities, they meet at all different times. There's ones that meet at 2, there's some that meet at 4, there's some meet at 7, 8. It's up to the cities.
All the meetings are also going to continue to be
Yes, we'll be continuing to
Zoom.
stream them.
and via telephone.
They would just move us up at half an hour instead of 6:30 to 6.
Again, I'm flexible. I can make whatever work.
Is Tuesday the only day we're looking at? Is Thursday an option?
I believe Thursday was a potential option, but I believe
Thursday,
you had some
Friday,
conflicts.
Friday's an absolute impossibility. Thursday would be difficult. Tuesday for myself is really the best day. I don't know about everybody else.
If it was
Wednesday's work if I had to.
If it was Thursdays, it would need to be the second week of the month. I have prior commitment conflicts on the first week on Thursdays. But whatever is most convenient for you all.
Wednesday, Thursday, I'm
Tuesdays are shot for you. Is that what's going on?
a little bit easier not to be on Tuesday, but if it is, then that's fine.
And Wednesday's no good for anybody else?
I'm good any day.
I believe.
I'm good on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I don't have problem of time for Tuesdays and Thursday. It doesn't matter when.
I just asked, what's wrong with Monday? Just-
One of our council members has a problem with Mondays.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Work commitment right here.
How's your availability?
Monday and Tuesday is best for me.
Thursday is out.
I can make it work, but I usually travel, usually on Wednesday or Thursday, so.
Mhm.
Thursday would be less than ideal for me. Tuesday would be much better.
All right, like I said, I can do Tuesday. Tuesday works for her.
Tuesday.
Tuesday works for you.
I'm good with anything.
You're good with anything, and you're usually not traveling on Tuesday.
Right.
Sounds like Tuesday and 6
How
p.m.
about the half-hour thing?
6 p.m. So
And would everybody be able to make an LPA at 5:30
yes.
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 on a Tuesday?
They don't have to all the time.
Okay.
How about how many a year?
I think we had last month, and before that, we hadn't had one in about 4 or 5 months.
Once in a while.
Once in a while,
They'll let you know.
Schedule around it, so yeah, that's fine.
And most of the LPAs are centered around cleaning up an ordinance or changing an ordinance. So, and again, one of the things that we're doing now more so is having one-on-ones with each one of the council to make sure we've got all your concerns addressed before it ever comes to council, so that we can boil it down to I need a question, option one or option two, or this wording or that wording. So we're trying to work those through so that by the time it comes to here, you all are well versed in it and you can make your comments easy.
I can make 5:30 work occasionally and 6 PM regular city council meetings.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
And when you would need a motion by the council,
If I may, are you referring to the first Tuesday of the month, just to confirm?
I believe so.
First Tuesday of the month?
Everybody okay with
Yes.
first Tuesday? First Tuesday. We normally do second Monday.
normally we do second Monday.
Why wouldn't we do second Tuesday?
I do know that a lot of the other different varying consultants that interact with us, second Tuesdays, they've already got prior commitments. So
Okay,
It
first
seems,
Tuesday.
it seems to be that the first Tuesday of the month seems to be everybody's hole in their calendar right now.
Okay,
First Tuesday it is,
6 PM.
6 PM.
So do we need a motion for that?
Yeah.
That'd be, yes.
If
in the
there's
form
no
of a
further
motion.
discussion, we need a motion.
So motion to approve resolution 2022-10 for amending our rules of the city council, moving our meetings to the second Tuesday,
First Tuesday.
first Tuesday of every month at 6 PM. Okay. And then what we're going to bring back
And you could include the LPA in
and the
that,
LPA current 5:30.
and then they'll have the LPA ratify it when the time comes.
Okay.
Second. Second.
I have a motion by Vice Mayor Langowski, seconded by Councilwoman Leonard. Roll call. Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Councilman Martinez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Vayuron.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Excellent. Moving forward, we have before us a resolution 2022-11, Education and Youth Advisory Board City Council Liaison. City Attorney, please read the resolution into the record.
Thank you, Mayor. For the record, Resolution 2022-11 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Westlake, Florida, appointing one member to serve as the City Council liaison to the Education and Youth Advisory Board, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Excellent. City Manager? Take us through this.
Yes, we have a Youth Advisory Council Board right now, but we do not have a liaison from the council that is, since Councilwoman Long Robinson left us, we don't have anybody really shepherding them, and we're looking for someone to shepherd them.
Is there a council member who would like to take that on?
I would like to volunteer and put my name out there. I promise I would like to carry on Katrina Long Robinson's torch with that, if that's possible with the council.
Does anyone have any objections to Vice Mayor Langowski being the liaison to the Youth Advisory Council? Sounds great.
Sounds great. Yeah.
I will say, I'll throw some comments in. This Youth Advisory Board needs some housekeeping. Definitely needs a vision, a strong vision, which I believe they're lacking now. I've done my best to try and like poke in every now and again and see what's going on with it, and they haven't done much. And I don't think it's through any great fault of theirs. They just haven't really had the leadership or the vision. So you've got some work to do.
Okay.
I think at some point too, we need to modify the committee itself to make it so if you miss a certain amount of consecutive meetings, you're automatically off the board. Right now, we don't have that. And we need that. So I don't know if that's something we can direct right now.
We would have to bring back, and again, I'll confess, I don't know if the board is created by ordinance or resolution, but we would need to bring back the appropriate document embracing whether it's 3 absences or 4 absences that would require a removal.
Yeah, I mean, we don't get to talk amongst ourselves, so this is pretty much the only chance we do. So I'm going to steal this time in order to do so.
I'm trying to remember it,
It was created by ordinance.
by ordinance. And Zoe, do we have staggered times on those, or are they all the same? I can't remember that ordinance.
They are staggered.
Staggered.
Do we know when the next seats are opening up there?
I don't recall off the top of my head.
So, I mean, the board needs a shakeup, for sure. And
Well, can I work with staff and then come back to the council? and some ideas and
Sure.
what we plan?
Please.
Maybe a layout. See what the council wants. Okay.
This will be your deal.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you. Public comment, I believe. Is there any other comments from council regarding the youth advisory board? No.
No comment.
Motion.
That being said, I need a motion.
Motion to approve Education and Youth Advisory Board for City Council Liaison, Resolution 2022/11.
I second.
Appointing Mr. Langowski. Appointing Mr. Langowski as a liaison.
So motion to approve Education and Youth Advisory Board City Council Liaison for Langowski. City Council Langowski.
We got it.
Resolution 2022/11.
Second.
Excellent.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Ron, seconded by Councilwoman Leonard. Roll call, Mayor O'Connor,
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard,
Yes.
Councilman Martinez,
Yes.
Councilwoman Ron,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Next, my favorite topic, Fourth Fest. We're going to appoint, we have before us a resolution 2022-12 Fourth Fest Ad Hoc Event Committee. City Attorney, please read the resolution into record.
Thank you, Mayor. For the record, Resolution 2022-12 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Westlake, Florida, appointing 3 members to serve on the ad hoc committee to assist the city manager in planning for the city's 4th of July celebration for 2022, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Ken?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, as in order to get some of the residents involved in this planning process as well, and additional buy-in by the residents of what we have going on, 3 members of the residents would be advisable to be able to meet. And the reason we're doing it as an ad hoc committee versus a standing committee is, as I understand it from the attorneys, an ad hoc committee working with the manager does not fall into the purview of the meeting requirements and minutes and stuff of a standing committee, is my understanding.
And let's be very clear that this committee is not providing recommendations to the city council, to the council itself. This is a committee to work with the manager in
Right.
further into this specific program. But the key is under the Sunshine Law, if it were a council providing recommendations to this body as final decision makers, it would require notice and minutes and public access. This is more akin to a fact-finding committee that's not making recommendations, not deliberating, and working only with your staff. So this would fall outside of that purview.
Understood. Would this committee have interactions with any council members or strictly staff?
I guess it depends on what they're tasked to do.
Excellent. I hope this is not in lieu of an actual special events committee for the city that we have direction from the council in order to create. I hope that's still being created.
No, that is still out there to play, but that would be recommending to the council what types of events. All right. Right now, we have one event that we're working.
One specific event that we need help with right now.
That committee would be coming up with and working and advising the council as, are we going to do something on Labor Day or Memorial Day or other events type thing would be that committee. And that would fall under the regular committee format that would be advising the council of what types of items and events we should be involved in.
Perfect. Okay, great. Well, I mean, we could use all the help with Fourth Fest that we can get. It is progressing very well. And we just had a meeting today, actually, in terms of it. As far as this ad hoc committee goes, I do have 2 residents whose names I would like to put forward. One of them has been incredibly successful just planning events in general throughout the city, mobilizing parades and Christmas events and so on and so forth. The other reached out to me specifically and asked if there's any way that they could help or assist in planning these fun events. I don't have 3, I only have 2. Don't know if anybody else has a third person they would like to to recommend? If not, how do we fill the third person?
How are they selected or appointed?
Well, we're going to make that
You're
decision
gonna
right
make
now.
appoint, you're gonna appoint them this evening.
I personally have two names I would love to put forward for the Fourth Fest Committee, this ad hoc committee. But anybody else?
I don't have anybody.
Who do you have?
One of them's name is Megan Hemp. She was the young lady that
Oh, yeah, she was here,
yeah,
no?
we
Yes.
brought her-
Yeah,
we brought her to the podium. She planned that entire Christmas golf cart.
yeah,
Yes.
she was very good.
parade. She partly inspired idea of a special events committee. Based on her actions there, I was so impressed. I thought she would make a perfect chair for that committee. The other one, should have wrote the name down. I had it. Is a Miss Elizabeth Thompson. She's just a resident that reached out to me and offered any assistance in planning events and wanted to be on the fun committee. So I have two names.
Do we have to select the three of them today? We can maybe do two and then
It's up
from
to
there.
council.
Yep,
To council.
again, if the council wanted to appoint two, that's,
These are I mean, these are volunteer positions.
they're
I'd love
they're
to,
volunteer to work with your manager.
Let them get to work and
Did we have enough notice to the residents for them to
we had no notice.
voice? What's that?
I don't think we had any notice.
No, we didn't have any notice.
So maybe we should
It was
notice
just-
and then
just
next
council.
meeting we can
Well,
appoint the third.
July's gonna be here before you know it.
Right, but I mean, at least we have the two for now,
Right.
and for the third one, we
Yeah.
can, make a notice to residents, whoever
Right.
speaks up, then we can,
Yeah, I
Appoint the
think
third.
this ad hoc committee was probably stemmed from a little bit of need.
Yes,
No.
as we were working through the
As we're
planning
working through
process.
it, that staff's overburdened and could use some help, contacting vendors and
Absolutely.
and so on and so forth. Great, so Elizabeth Hemp and I'm
Megan
sorry,
Hemp,
I just,
right?
Megan Hemp
Megan Hemp.
and Elizabeth Thompson. As long as nobody objects, I can, our staff can reach out to them after the meeting and give them the great news. Is there anything that bars me from reaching out to them and
Not at all.
talking to them and working with them?
Not at all.
No,
Fourth Fest has kind of been my
Go right ahead.
My brainchild.
No restriction at all. Not a sun, not a,
deeply and intimately involved with Fourth Fest.
not a sunshine issue.
So, I got it, Ken. I'll talk to you.
you got the names there.
All right, so two names. Anybody want to add a third? To help, that loves planning parties?
Somebody had,
Volunteers.
somebody handed back.
Public comment.
Maybe
There was
there's
a hand,
public comment
did
or
I say
somebody
hand in the
online?
back?
We do need a third person.
They're pointing to you. They're all pointing to you.
Since he is a member of a ranking member of the fire department.
You don't want to be a party planner?
I'll be there to help out.
chief?
Okay. All right, so we'll throw out the last spot on social media.
Yeah, I think we'll
see,
advertise, see who steps up, and we
and
can get it
see who
filled by the
wants-
next meeting, but we can at least start with two.
Does there only have to be
Should,
three?
there should have to be three? Can we make it
This is-
five?
Yeah, we'll
He needs some more people.
It's just, as we're going, if you get too large, it's gonna be harder to
Well,
keep it focused
can we
where
make-
we're at.
Can we make, say, Megan the point person and they talk amongst themselves and then she works with you?
Yes, you could do that.
An army of five is better than an army of three.
Yeah.
but In terms of dealing with staff, one person is better than five.
Maybe Megan can be the president of the committee.
Well, it's not can there be a president of an ad hoc committee? or-
No.
Well, I mean, there can be. I mean, this is, again, this is really very
Just designate
informal.
her the
Informal.
point
Yeah,
person.
again, this is
Yeah.
really an informal group to work with your staff.
You'll be the one who communicates with staff. All right, let's make it five.
Yeah.
You get
Full
two, we
staff.
need three more.
5 people, we have 2. We'll have them by the next meeting. We can
Yes.
appoint them.
Sounds good.
Great. Yes, we
I'm
need
sorry, Mayor, you want a motion?
Public comment?
Need a
Right.
motion for this,
Need a motion for those two. right?
resolution for the two.
Public comment first, or?
You do public comment first.
Public comment.
I didn't receive any comment cards. We'll give the virtual audience a moment to raise their virtual hand. If you wish to make a comment, please state your name and address. If you've been muted, please press *6. I see no comments, Mayor.
All All right. Well, there's no further discussion. Let's have a motion.
All right. Mayor, I make a motion that we adopt resolution number 2022-12, the Fourth Fest Ad Hoc Event Committee, appointing 5 members to serve on the ad hoc committee to assist the city manager in planning for the city's 4th of July celebration for 2022, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
And those 2 of the members will be.
That would include Ms. Thompson and Ms. Hemp.
Correct.
Correct. That would include Ms. Thompson and Ms. Hips.
Second.
Excellent.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Leonard, second by Vice Mayor Langowski. Roll call, Councilwoman Leonard,
Yes.
Councilman Martinez,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bayou-Ron,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski,
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Excellent. Next on the agenda is the appointment of a voting delegate and alternate voting delegate for the Palm Beach County League of Cities. Ken, you want to explain further?
I'm going to bunt this one to my city clerk since she's more familiar with the league.
The city received a request from the Palm Beach County League of Cities to designate a voting delegate and alternate voting delegates to vote on behalf of the city at any league general membership meeting, special meeting, and or function of the general membership. And at a previous council meeting, council voted to have the mayor and the alternates were the rest of council. And then Ken was also identified as a alternate member.
Real quick, I've just been appointed to the board. I haven't been sworn in yet. That's on the 25th at the board of the directors for the Palm Beach County League of Cities. So I have to be there anyways at every single meeting. It does just make sense for me to be there.
Correct.
And be the voting delegate. As far as the alternate, I mean,
I'd like to be an alternate.
we can make it the whole council.
Yes.
Oh, the whole council?
Yeah. then whoever,
Any one of the councils that
Oh,
could be
the
available.
Can be the alternate voting
Yeah.
member. Good. That was great discussion and comments from council. If there's no further discussion, can we have a motion?
No public hearing?
Do we need
Public
public
comment,
comment?
do we need public comments?
No.
Voting delegates for,
No.
You do not.
No.
I do need clarification. Will you also have Ken as an alternate?
sure,
Thank
I'm
you.
in there. How about it, Ken?
When they all run out of town, leave me holding the bag,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Nobody else can make it, you'll be there.
Make a motion to approve the voting delegate as the mayor and the alternate voting delegates for the Palm Beach County League of Cities as the entire council, whoever's there, and or Ken Castle as the city manager.
Excellent. Second.
Second.
I have a motion by Vice Mayor Langowski, seconded by Councilman Martinez. Roll call. Councilman Martinez,
Yes.
Councilman Bayou-Ron,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski,
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor,
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Staff reports.
Council comments.
Ah, sorry. Council comments.
You want to cut yourself out tonight?
Yeah, maybe. Let's start with our newest council member, Councilwoman Leonard. Do you have any comments?
I'd just like to say thank you all for voting for me, and I hope I serve you well, and I hope I serve the city of Westlake well, and it's a pleasure to be here tonight and to be
Excellent.
amongst you all.
Councilman Martinez.
I just want to say congratulations, Councilwoman Leonard. Happy to have you. I'm looking forward to what we do for the city. No further comments.
Excellent. Councilwoman Valedon.
I want to congratulate you, and I'm very happy you part of our board.
Thank
We're gonna do very well. Thank you.
Mr. Vice Mayor.
I also send my congratulations and welcome.
Thank you.
That leaves me. Congratulations. Welcome to the team. I think got big shoes to fill in that seat, but I think you'll do just
Ma'am,
fine.
over there. No.
I think you'll do just wonderful. You'll be a wonderful addition to this council and an asset to the city. Thank you.
Thanks.
Quick update on our big July 4th party. We are chugging right along. We are in the hardcore fundraising stage right now. We've done very well. I won't get into specifics, but we've secured some top big dollar amount commitments from a lot of our local partners here, and everybody's excited to partner with the city on this event and make it, as it is really the city's very first event. A lot of people are excited to get involved and write checks, and it's going to be an incredible event. So with that, let's go to staff reports.
You have your Sheriff's Office report in front of you from District 18. Lieutenant, do you have anything else to add?
Lieutenant Robert DeMarzo, Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. I don't have anything to add, but if you have any questions for me, feel free to ask.
I just want to say great job, General. Everything included in that, and thank you. Does anybody have any questions for PBSO today?
Chief Fire for the fire is next.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief?
Good evening. Congratulations, Councilwoman Leonard.
Thank you.
Very happy to see you up here. It would be a great addition. I really don't have much. I know our report didn't get sent yet. It should be sent by the end of the week. But everything's been looking good. All of our response times have been the same. So our out times are doing good. So everything's on track. If you don't have any questions.
First Tuesday now.
Yes, which will be interesting. I have many meetings on Tuesday, but we'll make it work. That's okay. We'll make it work.
Thank you again for everything you guys do.
No problem. Thank you.
Wonderful. Any,
No question.
excellent. Mr. City Manager. Oh, City Attorney. Sorry.
Thank you, Mayor. I do just have a couple of quick items. Going back to the item earlier to change the date of the council meeting, I would just caution to the extent that any items have been previously advertised. I just want to make sure that we have any advertising issues addressed given the change of dates from Monday to Tuesday, so that there may be a transition if things have been previously advertised. Just wanted to state that for the record. On behalf of DJ Duty and myself, Councilwoman Leonard, I'd like to echo everybody and congratulating you as well. Now that we do have a full complement on the council, I did just want to bring up the issue of some sunshine law and public records and ethics training, which I know we've talked about in the past. We were waiting for a fifth council member to be appointed, which we now have. There is a requirement that annually, every elected official at the city level in the state of Florida receive 4 hours of training on an annual basis. I'd like to go ahead and try to schedule some of that with the 5 of you. I guess I'd ask for your preference as to whether we would do something in 2-hour sessions or 1 4-hour session, or how you'd like to break that up. Our office is happy to accommodate the training. We can do it in a workshop setting before a council meeting, or we can set a special meeting for that purpose. We're certainly flexible in the context of time and scheduling, but there are a number of topics regarding the Sunshine Law, public records, open government, and both state ethics and county ethics that we want to make sure that we cover and give you all an opportunity to get your hours, which are again are required by statute.
Would you do it? Would you do the entire council in one shot? I've always done my ethics training individually or online.
We're happy to do it all in one shot. Whatever works for the 5 of you. We can schedule it as a public meeting. We can come in
with all together.
Sit down for 4 hours?
I'm good with 4 hours.
We could do it 4 hours, 2 sessions. Again, we'll accommodate whatever works for the majority.
I'll leave this up to my colleagues. I'll find
I'm
a
gonna
full
put
lady.
4 hours then.
Yeah, me too.
Sounds like a Tuesday would work. Guessing.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we'll coordinate.
We'll coordinate with Ken, get everybody's schedule, maybe sometime in June, end of May, but we can look at calendars and find some time that works for everybody.
Excellent.
Perfect.
That was all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you, City Attorney. Mr. City Manager.
Just a couple quick items. We had a meeting on the 4th with Palm Beach County, since we're heading towards hurricane season, on preparation, different things we need to do, coordinate for waste removal, et cetera. So we're working through the plan. Being as it's Sid and city, a lot of that roadway clearing, et cetera, because they're not city roads, would fall on Sid. So Sid is deeply involved in it, along with Carlos on the solid waste side. So we're doing preparation and putting out some SOPs at this point in time. The other thing is, as John mentioned earlier, 711 2.0 is very close. Are scheduled right now to change from a TCO to a CO on, I believe it's the 19th of the month. So I would believe that they would have their soft opening and grand opening pretty much before the end of the month. I don't have an exact date yet, but they are there. And the other thing is, we did have some incidents last night. And I'd like to remind all residents to lock your car at night. Don't leave things in it. Don't leave something visible that might be interesting to somebody. Because as well as our PD is working, as well as they monitor people coming in and out, it doesn't take long for somebody to come up, pop your door, grab whatever you might have left in your car and be gone. So.
Stay vigilant.
And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Public comments. This section of the agenda allows for comments from the public to speak. Each speaker will be given a total of 3 minutes and only 3 minutes. A public comment card should be completed and returned to the city clerk. When you are called to speak, please go to the podium or unmute your device. And prior to addressing the council, state your name and address for the record. City clerk, are there any public comments?
I received no previous comment cards, Mayor. We'll give the virtual audience a moment to raise their virtual hand. If you wish to make a comment, please raise your virtual hand. Please wait to be acknowledged. You will state your name and address. You have 3 minutes. If you've been muted, please press *6. Mayor, I see no comments.
Real quick, I want to thank staff for all their hard work. I want to thank all of our presenters. I want to thank the public for being here. And I want to thank all my colleagues for their leadership. And on that note, I will adjourn at 8:22 p.m. Woo!